Hi everybody, as I promised, I'm going to talk about respiratory physiology, and I start with the first lecture, which is actually is not a lecture, it's a very fast review of lung volume and capacity, and finally about alveolar ventilation, how you calculate alveolar ventilation. Let's talk about this graph, which is very familiar with all of you know and you studied, but somebody thinks it's very complicated with all of these data comes to this graph. Actually it's not, it's very easy. Even you can cheat, use your respiration and you can draw this graph. Look at here, maybe it's confusing, but it is not. You see it's going up, down, up, down. What is this? Why is going high, then why is deep? Actually, just try on yourself what we do. We breathe in, out, in, out, in, out. See? In, out, in, out. This is everybody's doing. We call it, it's a volume of air we inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Do we have only this? Can we do more than this? Yes. We can inhale deeper. If I'm breathing normally, now I breathe deep. What does it mean? Because it means I inhale more inside. Look at here. In, out, inhale more. Yeah? And I exhale and back to normal. But so far two. First, we call it tidal volume. The amount of the volume with each breathing we inhale, exhale, which is nearly equivalent to 500 milliliters. Second one, which I mentioned, is something we reserve when we need, when you want to breathe deeply. That's why we have a term of reserve. And what we are doing, inspirating or expirating, inspirating, inhaling. That's why the name is inspiratory reserve volume. It still is volume. Inspiratory reserve volume. So far, we know this one is tidal volume. This from here to here is IRV. Keep going. So far we learned two, tidal volume, inspiratory reserve volume. Can I do more than that? This is deep inspiration. I can do forceful expiration as well. What I'm doing, I'm exhaling more. Look at here. This is tidal volume, tidal volume, tidal volume. One deep exhalation. Okay. Still this one is reserve. You see, the term reserve is there. And it still is volume, one volume. And what we call that, is it inspiration or expiration? It's expiration, that's why we call it expiratory reserve volume or ERV. As you can see, its amount is something nearly 1.5 liter. We can exhale with forceful expiration in normal physiology. We have only these three volumes. Oh, you think what is this? Yes, we have number 4, but it's not under our control. These three we control. We can breathe deep and we can exhale deep forcefully. We cannot do more than these three. Tidal volume, inspiratory reserve volume, and expiratory reserve volume. This one is expiratory reserve volume. Okay. But what is residual volume and where is residual? As you can see in this graph, I haven't started from 0 point. It's a little bit higher. The reason is, when we breathe in and out, our lung is not going to be totally empty from air. Since first breathing after birth, we have always some air in our respiratory system in normal physiology. As a result, that means there are some air is not going in and out, always are there. What we call that? Residual volume. This is our level of residual volume. Normally, which we cannot measure with respirometer. Tidal volume, inspiratory reserve volume, expiratory reserve volume, and residual volume, which is in my lung. My lung is not collapsed. There are some air. Okay, we don't have more than this. That means you can draw this graph by simply knowing you have inspiration, expiration, deep, and for inspiration and expiration. What are capacities? Capacities is combination of some of these air together. That means for capacity we need at least two volume. Inspiratory capacity, you tell me, what is combination? A combination of which two can be inspiratory capacity? Something related to inspiration. Which one is that? Tidal volume plus IRV. Because these two are related to inspiration. Tidal volume I inhale, and IRV is my reserve. All together is my capacity, how much I can put in. That means this is my inspiratory capacity. Easy. What about functional reserve capacity? Functional reserve capacity, what does it mean? It means when I breathe normally, at the end of normal expiration, whatever is in my lung is functional reserve capacity. That's why we have a term of functional. At the end of expiration, that means from here to down, whatever I have is my FRC. That means it's combination of FRC is combination of ERV and residual volume. Whatever I left after normal expiration, what I have still my reserve for forceful, and plus of course residual volume, which I cannot do anything with that, with my function. Okay, almost done. There are two more terms which is just playing game with this. Vital capacity. You tell me, what is vital capacity? Term of vital helps you to discover what is vital capacity. Vital capacity is something is under your control. Everything, combination of all volumes which you can change. Which volumes is that? Do you agree if I said is tidal volume? Do you agree if I said is inspiratory reserve volume? Do you agree if I add expiratory reserve volume as well? Yes, this is vital capacity. That means vital capacity is whatever I can do with my respiratory system. The maximum things I can do is after normal inhalation, just inhale deeply, and after that exhale forcefully, like this. This is my vital capacity. It's combination of my tidal volume, my reserve inspiratory volume, and my reserve. Then the rest of that is like a playing game with formula. Instead of writing this, I can write inspiratory capacity, yeah, plus ERV. This is just playing game with this fact. Try to learn the main concept what is vital capacity. Then you don't need to memorize this formula. And lastly, the most easiest and simple, total lung capacity. The total is telling you everything. Of course, total lung capacity must be combination of vital capacity plus residual volume. Or instead of saying vital capacity, when I say total lung capacity, that means all four volumes. That means tidal volume plus inspiratory reserve volume plus expiratory reserve volume plus residual volume. All four volumes together, we call it total lung capacity. Okay. I hope now it's easy for you. Just only to draw this one become vital capacity and everything together total lung capacity. Now you understood volumes and capacity. I review very fast. Volumes, we have four. Tidal volume, inspiratory reserve volume, it's our reserve to inhale deeply. Expiratory reserve volume, we can exhale forcefully. And of course, residual volume, which our lung always is has some air in, it's not collapsed. There are some air inside. Combination of these can make capacity, which is inspiratory capacity. That means combination of whatever volume I can inhale, which is two only, tidal volume and inspiratory reserve volume. And functional reserve capacity, whatever air I left in my lung after normal exhalation or normal expiration, which is whatever left after normal is only ERP plus residual volume. And last two, vital capacity is whatever I can put in and out of my lung, all the volumes, which is not more than three. I have tidal volume, I have IRV, and I have ERV. These three combination is my capacity or humankind's capacity to inhale and exhale. And total lung capacity is whatever volumes it can come in and out of our lung, which is four. Besides tidal, IRV, and ERV, residual volume will be added to total lung capacity. Now you see this graph is very simple. Do not confuse yourself by memorizing that. Try to understand what's going on by, as I said, you can cheat. You have your lungs, just be, oh, this is tidal, this is IRV, oh, combination of these two is IC, and you can keep going, okay? This is a good cheating. Nobody can penalize you for this type of cheating. Okay, after this, there are two more terms. There are many things in respiratory system I would like to share with you, as I said, like a cardiovascular as well, but I go step by step. First, the main concept. Now, when we understand the meaning of volume and capacity, how we use this volume and capacity. Total ventilation. Can you tell me what does it mean, total ventilation? That means how much we ventilate in 1 minute. How do you calculate how much we ventilate? I breathe. That means this is my ventilation. How much volume is that? For instance, it's 500. Then, what else? 500 I'm ventilating for one breathing. When I say total ventilation or minute ventilate, it makes more sense. How do you calculate? Just times by your respiratory rate. Like simple mathematics in primary school. This pen is $2. This, how much is 2 pens? 2 times 2. One ventilation, 500 liter. Ventilation, how much ventilation in 1 minute? times the number of my ventilation. If I'm ventilating 12 times per minute, that means 12 times 500 will be around 6 liter. Makes sense? Good. That means it's tidal volume, or sometimes if you see VT, still it means tidal volume, times respiratory rate is minutes ventilation. But is that useful? Yes and no. No, because our respiratory system, as you know from the anatomy, is designed to conduct the air to the lower part. I don't mean the lower lungs. That means to the lower part of anatomical branch of lungs, to give to the capillary and oxygen and exchanging oxygen and CO2, which you know. But you know, for instance, trachea, bronchi, there are no exchanging of gas. Only there are some like a tube to conduct air to which area? To the last part, which you know there is alveoli. In the alveoli level, we exchange gas. Before, up to terminal bronchial, there is no exchanging. Okay, there is no exchanging. What about air? Do we have air over there? Yes, we do. But is there functional for us? That means giving gas like oxygen to us? Oh no, there's no alveoli. How? Then what is the usage of that? And that means if I say 500 in one breathing, all these 500 is not reaching the alveolar level. Some of them are here. As you know, we call this area dead space. Dead space is that it doesn't mean it is dead. That means we are not using that gas for getting oxygen. I show it VD. VD, that means dead space. This space, we call it physiological dead space, or anatomical dead space. There is sometimes difference between, but in the normal physiology, both of them are same. Anatomical or physiological dead space. It means, imagine I am breathing for the first time, okay? What is happening? Air is coming here up to this. That means out of 500, portion of 500 is here, portion is here. We know and we calculated something around 150 ml will be in this area. 150 ml will be in this area. Okay, 150 here, and 350 is going to the alveolar level. Okay, what does it mean? That means out of 500, I'm using only 350. If you want to calculate alveolar ventilation, what do? It's very simple, it's still the same, but you cannot use tidal volume. You have to remove this dead space. Then now it makes sense, because this one shows how much air reached the alveoli. This amount of air reached alveoli. For instance, 500 minus 150, 350 in every single breathing. And of course, when I breathe 12 times per minute, you times 12. Or imagine, this is 400, this is, imagine in one case is 100, just as a number. 400 minus 100, 300. 300 times 12 is 3.2 liter, is my alveolar ventilation. But how much is my minutes ventilation, only tidal volume, which was 400 times 12, 4.8 is my total ventilation per minute, but most important part is alveolar ventilation. You see, it's very simple. Do not memorize alveolar ventilation is VT minus VT times respiratory. No, try to understand what does it mean. And as I said, this is the first breathing. That means 150 here, 350 is going down. Then when I exhale, part of this air will be kept in this space. And for the second breathing, which is low oxygenated, it goes down. That's why alveolar ventilation is not pure, because always there are nearly 150 in the normal person. 150 ml of the gas is gas from the previous exhalation, which is low oxygenated, and also in the simple way. Do not confuse yourself. This part, 150, doesn't work for ventilation, only alveolar part. This is a simple way to explain what is alveolar ventilation. This was a very fast review of lungs volume, capacity, and alveolar ventilation. As I said, in physiology, do not try to memorize any formula, because all of them has concept. You must understand the concept. You can create a formula without memorizing that. When they give you the number, do not confuse yourself. Okay, this is tidal volume, this is dead space. Of course, the minus of each other will be a volume in the alveolar level. How many times per minute I'm breathing? Then you can calculate simple like that. I hope it was useful for you. I will keep going with some other lecture in cardiovascular, respiratory, and other body system one by one very soon. Thank you.